Hi, my name is Jason Tseng. I am a senior at the University of Richmond, majoring in theater and women's gender sexuality studies. And for my WGSS capstone project, I decided to create a theater dance work entitled Searching for Susan. Searching for Susan, as I said, incorporates theater and dance, which lends itself to my educational background. But it is a play that I wrote, or adapted from a short story by Neil Gaiman, who's brilliant. And it's a play that delves further into the world of Narnia, that's been popularized by the prolific Christian English, Irish writer C.S. Lewis. And it's really an inquiry into the character of Susan Pevensey. And she is this very controversial character because she's one of the four kind of original children to enter Narnia. And then by the end of it, she is refused admittance to paradise for her proclivity for lipstick and nylons and party invitations. It's this very strange transformation. And I view it as an act of literary misogyny on the part of C.S. Lewis. It was a project of doing justice to a character which I felt had been wronged by Lewis. Some of the difficulties I had in creating this work was really the act of joining dance and theater. That was something that seems kind of natural, but in many it's actually very kind of seldom to see in productions where, especially in theatrical productions, where dance is more than kind of a divertisement. So it was very important for me, the choice of including dance in this work was a very deliberate choice, in that dance is a very different kind of text than theater is. And this whole piece has to deal with a series of competing texts. We have a literary text that's flat and written and concrete and fixed, and then we have a theatrical text which is kind of jumps through many hoops. Like Neil Gaiman writes this short story which I think get inspired by, and then I take that as a launching point for my own play, and then that text gets transferred into actors who speak it and create it, and then we get it paired with this dance text. And I find dance is very interesting because I find it the most, of all the art forms, the most unfixed art form, because it's the only art form that I know of that within its creation, by creating it, it is also simultaneously being destroyed. And that ephemerality, that embodiment, that presence of the performance was something that I really thought would be really interesting to match with this kind of timeless work. So the way that I became inspired to write Searching for Susan was almost a year ago. I was introduced to a graphic novel by the name of Lost Girls by a writer named Alan Moore. I can't remember the illustrator, but it's a fantastic graphic novel that delves into the lives of Wendy from Peter Pan, Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, and Alice from Through the Looking Glass. And it's just really interesting text that reinvents these very familiar narratives as a very kind of pro-woman, pro-sexuality. And so I at first thought to adapt that work, but then I decided that it wasn't so much the Lost Girls that I was in love with, but more with what the Lost Girls was trying to achieve, which I felt was a rehabilitation of text. And I love that idea, to rehabilitate text, and not identifying, like, for example, not just calling Lewis out for being misogynist, but or a racist or a colonialist, but really coming to grips with the fact that the Chronicles of Narnia are wonderful. They're beautifully written, and Lewis is a great prolific writer, but also taking the time and the effort to make these texts livable in kind of in our present age. So that's all I have. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video.